Okay, today we will learn about projectile motion. Suppose you have a ball and this is ground. So now we have studied that if you throw the ball vertically upwards, then what will happen? We have studied that in vertical motion. But now we will study what will happen if you throw the ball with an angle alpha. Okay, so if you throw slightly, not vertically upwards, then that will be vertical motion, but slightly tilted, that is with an angle alpha. With alpha can take any values from 0 to 180 degree. So suppose you throw the ball with speed u, the initial speed. Okay, now this ball will follow a trajectory like this. So this will gain a height and an horizontal range. We have seen that when we play catch in field, okay, someone throw the ball and another one catch the ball. Okay, so this motion is called projectile motion. Now we'll study this motion in detail. Suppose we threw the ball. Suppose this is the trajectory of the ball, the path in which the ball moved, and you threw the ball with suppose initial speed u and the angle was alpha. Alpha can vary from 0 degree to 180 degree. Okay, so now what will be the maximum height, what will be the maximum range? We'll evaluate these values, but the first thing you have to understand is this motion is confined in 2 dimension. Okay, so when you throw the ball has only 2 components. This u vector has only 2 components. This is ux and this is uy. Suppose you take the vertical direction as y-axis and the horizontal direction as x-axis. Okay, so we have studied one-dimensional motion. I have video on it, one-dimensional motion. And in one-dimensional motion, projectile motion is a 2-dimensional motion. This is 2-dimensional motion. Projectile motion is 2-dimensional motion, and we have studied one-dimensional motion and we derived some formulas like v vector equal to u vector plus a vector t and s vector equal to u vector t plus half a vector t square and v square equal to u square plus 2as. These formulas we have derived. Now see these are vector equation. So when I say v vector equal to u vector plus a vector t, this will be valid in 2 dimension and 3 dimension also. In 2 dimension, this v vector will have 2 component, vx I cap plus vy j cap equal to ux I cap plus uy j cap. U vector will have 2 component, ux and uy. Similarly, a vector will also have 2 components, ax I cap plus ay j cap. into t. So I can divide this equation into, and I cap and j cap are independent, so I can say Vx equal to Ux plus Ax into t and Vy equal to Uy plus Ay into t. So we got two equations from these vector equations. Now these equations will, so we can break the two-dimensional motion into two one-dimensional motion, and we have studied one-dimensional motion, so from that we can also study two-dimensional motion very easily. So we'll break this motion into two one-dimensional motion. So u vector, we break it into two components. We know how to break a vector into its components. I have a video on that topic also. So here you can see Vx equal to x plus xt and Vy equal to uy plus uyt. Similarly, we will get from this equation s vector, so we will get sx I cap plus sy j cap equal to ux I cap plus uy j cap into t plus half ax I cap plus ay j cap into t square. So from that I can say I cap and j cap are independent. So sx, because these are this vector and this vector are perpendicular to each other, so this vector has no component along this axis, so these are independent. Sx equal to ux plus half axt square and sy will be uy plus half ay t square. So these formulas we will use to study the two-dimensional motion. We know very well how to study one-dimensional motion, and we will break this two-dimensional motion into two one-dimensional motion. Now suppose say if I throw the ball with u speed and with angle alpha, this angle alpha is with the horizontal x-axis. Okay, this angle will measure from horizontal axis. So alpha is the angle between the initial speed vector and horizontal axis, that is x-axis. So what will be the maximum height? So we can derive from this sy equal to uy plus half ay t square. So what will be it? Sy means h, the maximum. So along y axis the maximum height will be h, so h equal to uy. What will be uy? U cos alpha is ux and uy will be u sin alpha. So this will be u sin alpha plus half ay t square, half ay. What is ay? Along y axis there is only gravity is working, so ay will be minus g. Why minus g? Because g is working along negative y axis, so minus g t square. Now we don't know the value of t, so what will be the t? We know at the maximum point the velocity the y component of the velocity will be 0, because we know at that topmost point it will only have x component, it will have no y component of velocity. Then the Vy at this point should be 0, so Vy equal to 0. Uy was u sin alpha plus ayt, ay is minus g into t. So from this I can find t equal to u sin alpha by g. So we'll put this value into this t, so it will be h equal to u sin alpha minus g by 2 into u square sine square alpha by g square. So it will be h equal to u sine alpha minus u square sine square alpha by 2g. Sorry, there was uy into t. This t I missed. Okay, so there will be a t also. So t value is, so there will be a t. So here it will be u square sine square alpha by g. Okay, u square sine square alpha by g. So h will be u square sine square alpha by 2g. So this h, the maximum height it will go will be u square sine square alpha by 2g, because u and alpha is known. In what initial speed we throw the ball, we know that, and in what angle with horizontal axis we throw the ball, we know that. So from that we can derive what will be the maximum height it will reach. Now we have to find what along horizontal axis how much distance the ball will travel. How we will do that? So along x-axis only ux component is working, so that will be vx equal to x plus at axt, and sx equal to uxt plus half xt square. These two formulas will work here. So now from that we can found that sx is our r, the maximum distance it will travel. ux is u cos alpha, so it will be u cos alpha into t. We don't know how much time it will take to reach to the maximum distance, plus half ax. The only force on the ball is working is gravity, so along this direction there is no acceleration, so ax is equal to 0. So this is will be 0 into t square, so that is r equal to u cos alpha into t. And vx, what will be the speed here? Vx will be u cos alpha, ux equal to u cos alpha, ax is equal to 0, so vx will be only u cos alpha. So throughout the motion, the horizontal component of the horizontal component of the velocity will remain constant, and that is u cos alpha. So u cos alpha into t. So we have to find this t, and this t is the time taken to reach the maximum distance. That means the time of flight, the total time of flight. And the total time of flight have to found. How will we found that? Okay, we will found, so this t will be actually the total time of flight, so we can write total time of flight as capital T. So this you can write as capital T, u cos alpha into capital T. This capital T we have to find now, the time of flight. If I can find the time of flight, then I can find the horizontal range easily from this formula. So let's take now say the y components, that is vy equal to uy plus ayt and sy equal to uyt plus half ayt square is total time of flight. Okay, now here I will now derive the total time of flight. So in case of total time of flight, the initial component of uy So we have studied vertical motion in previous video. So in case of vertical motion, we learned that when the ball will reach a height, so this ball will reach a height and again it will hit the ground. So again when it will hit the ground, the displacement along y-axis will be 0. Because the net displacement from initial point to final point along x-axis, it has component, but this sy, that is 0, because s vector, the displacement vector, will have only x component, no y component. So sy will be 0 from a to b. Okay, so this sy will be 0 here, and uy is u sin alpha, t is total time of flight, plus half ay is always minus g, because only gravitational force is there, and capital T is capital T square, total time of flight. So this will be now implies that u sin alpha into capital T is equal to half g capital T square. So that will be capital T equal to 2u sin alpha by g. Okay, so from that, how we will be sure that what the formula you have derived is correct? Say put alpha equal to 90 degree, then sin alpha will be 1 and it will be 2u by g. That when alpha equal to 90 degree, the capital T will be 2u by g, and that is what we got in case of vertical motion. So this formula must be correct. Okay, so horizontal range capital R will be what? U cos alpha into capital T. Capital T is 2u sin alpha by g. So that will be 2u square into 2 sin alpha cos alpha by g. So that is equal to u square by g into 2 sin alpha cos alpha equal to sin 2 alpha. So u square by g into sin 2 alpha, that will be our horizontal range. So what we found, capital H will be u square sin square alpha by 2g. Our horizontal range will be u square by g sin 2 alpha, and total time of flight capital T will be 2u sin alpha by g. These things I need when I will solve MCQs or problems of projectile motion, so be careful. And now we will try to find the equation of this trajectory. So let's do that. So from here you can see Vx equal to ux cos alpha, Ax equal to 0, and Sx will be ux into t, that is u cos alpha into t, and half x equal to 0, so this term will vanish. So Sx equal to u cos alpha t, and Sy equal to, you know, that Sy will be u sin alpha into t minus half gt square, because ay sy means we know uyt plus half ayt square, ay equal to minus g, and uy is u sin alpha. Okay, so that is our sy. So now say any point, suppose this point is x comma y. Okay, so the displacement vector s vector, so this will be sx and this will be sy at any time t. Suppose say this time is t. So at any time, suppose the coordinate of that point is x comma y, so x will be u cos alpha into t, because the x coordinate of this point will be same as sx and the y coordinate of that point will be same as sy, so y will be u sin alpha into t minus half gt square. So from this equation you can find the value of t, that is x by u cos alpha, and you can put that value of t in the second equation, then you will got y equal to u sin alpha into x by u cos alpha minus half g into x square by u square cos square alpha. That means y will be u will be cancel out, x sin alpha by cos alpha equal to tan alpha minus minus g by 2 u square cos square alpha, means this is x square alpha and this is x square. So this is similar as y equal to ax plus bx square, where a is equal to tan alpha and b is equal to minus g sec square alpha by 2u square. So this equation, you know, if you learned coordinate geometry in mathematics, then you know this is the equation of a parabola. So this trajectory of a projectile must be parabolic. So this is a parabolic trajectory. So a projectile always follow a parabolic trajectory. Thank you. In next videos we will learn to solve problems about projectile motion.